Well, let's move now to the United States and a real hot-button issue, abortion. With the Supreme Court reportedly weighing a reversal of the landmark Roe v. Wade decision enshrining the right to choose, several states are passing tough new abortion laws, including Florida. On July 1st, a regulation championed by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is set to go into effect that bans almost all abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy, with exceptions only if the carrier's life is in danger or the fetus has a fatal condition, but not for cases of rape or incest. Now, the law is facing legal challenges, and one is very unusual. A progressive synagogue in the town of Boynton Beach, congregation Va-Dor, has filed a lawsuit calling the Florida law a violation of Jewish religious freedom rights, saying that it, quotes, threatens the Jewish people by imposing the laws of other religions upon Jews when it comes to abortion. Well, joining us now for more is Rabbi Barry Silva, Esquire. He's the spiritual leader of Congregation Va-Dor in Boynton Beach, Florida, and founder of Cosmic Judaism, Uniting Science and Religion. He joins us from the Bahamas, where he's traveling. And Rabbi Silva, thanks for joining us. When we think of abortion and religion, we usually associate it with the other side of the abortion issue. Those certain religions saying, they have to oppose it because of religious strictures. Tell us about your lawsuit and why your congregation decided to file it.
For far too long, the radical right, the white Christian nationalists have preempted the field and claimed as if they have the moral high ground, that if you're religious, that means you're opposed to abortion. Nothing could be further from the truth. Well, nobody likes the concept of abortion. We all prefer abortion in the Jewish fold to forced parenthood and to telling women what to do. In Jewish law, abortion is not only entitled for the woman, it is required if her health, well-being, emotional distress is threatened by the fetus. This law, if it was ever enacted, would criminalize women who exercise their rights as Jews to take the obvious common sense approach of favoring the mother over the fetus. And we will not allow this to stand. And it's chutzpah, it's arrogant for people who can't even read the Torah in its original language to tell the people who wrote it what it means to be religious, when life begins, and to tell Jewish people what to do. And it's also wrong to tell everybody else what to do. It's okay if they want to borrow the Jewish scriptures, and it's okay if they want to distort it beyond recognition, to say instead of God is one, God is three, and instead of being born good, we're born evil. And instead of saying that there's a good God.
I wanted to read you the response. This is from the Orthodox Union, the main umbrella group of Orthodox congregations in the United States. This is their response to this recent developments. The Orthodox Union is unable to either mourn or celebrate the news reports of the U.S. Supreme Court's likely overturning of Roe v. Wade. We cannot support absolute bans on abortion at any point in a pregnancy that would not allow access to abortion in life-saving situations. Similarly, we cannot support legislation that permits abortion on demand at any point in a pregnancy and does not confine abortions to situations in which medical, including mental health professionals, affirm that carrying pregnancy to term poses real risk to the life of the mother. So they're arguing the Jewish position is, yes, no absolute ban on abortion, but neither no absolute right to choose of women unless they can say that, for example, it endangers their well-being.
It's very sad that they would take a position that actually is contrary to Orthodox Judaism. The Orthodox Union apparently doesn't know what Orthodox Judaism has to say on the subject. First of all, there is no abortion on demand. It doesn't exist in the United States now, and it never has. There's always been restrictions on it. But the Orthodox should be the last people in the world who would want the government to write the law of abortion, which would make Orthodox Judaism become illegal. In Orthodox Judaism, human life begins at birth. The fundamentalists say it begins at conception. The Orthodox don't have to have abortion if they don't want to. They can do anything they want. The last thing they need is for the government to tell them how to live their life and how to abide by abortion law. They have their own law. They don't need fundamentalist Christians telling them what to do. And they should, most Orthodox Jews that I know of say life begins at birth, and they want nothing to do with the government imposing Christian values on Jews. This is a matter of Jewish rights and Jewish independence. And I'm glad to see that most Orthodox people that I know say, yes, you're right. We don't need the government intervening and contradicting Orthodox Judaism.
Now, this is a case that is likely going to, and I know it's been combined with another lawsuit. This is a kind of case that may well make its way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, which we know, on one hand, is maybe in the process of overturning Roe v. Wade. On the other hand, has some of its even conservative members very concerned on the issue of religious freedom, religious rights. How do you assess the prospects of this particular challenge, specifically to the Florida law?
I believe we'll have a very good chance of success because Florida law guarantees the right of religious freedom. As you say, this law is innovative. Usually we've been relying on the right of privacy, but the right of Jewish people to act as Jews is sacrosanct. They're trying to chip away at the wall of separation of church and state. Whenever that happens, the results are disastrous for the Jewish people and then others. We Jews have seen what happens when there's no barrier between church and state. We've seen inquisitions, pogroms, crusades, Holocaust ghettos. We don't need it. We don't want it. And even if, regardless of what happens in the court of law, in the court of public opinion, we have galvanized tremendous success across the board. Most Jews are pro-choice, and most Jews are rallying behind the rights of Jewish people and all people to make their own decisions based on Jewish law, not fundamentalist Christianity.
Well, let me ask you, you say most Jews. Your case has certainly received quite a lot of publicity in the United States, certainly there in the state of Florida. Can I ask what kind of reactions you've been getting, both pro and con, since the news has, you or your congregation, since you presented this lawsuit?
An avalanche of positive responses from Jewish organizations and individuals saying, finally, at last, somebody recognizes the religious issue and defies the fundamentalists who say that they're pro-life. They're not pro-life. Pro-life means allowing women to decide based on their understanding of the sanctity of life and the strength of the Jewish family when to bring a child into the world, not to just say, okay, you had sex and you weren't careful. Right. Bingo, we're going to have another life.
Rabbi Silva, have you not? I'm just curious. Have you received any negative reaction, or even more severe than that? Let's say.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen plenty of negative reaction from Trump's acolytes, from brainwashed people, from people who are so far gone religiously they don't even know what is going on, and people who believe religion allows them to be arrogant, hostile, and vicious, especially towards the Jewish people. There's a lot of Christians who don't believe that the Jews have the right to defend their own religious views, and that Judaism is just something that led the way to Christianity. So we have seen that. We've seen hate mail. We've seen people who are very negative, but the overwhelming vast response from the over 80% of Jews who are pro-choice, NCJW, Hadassah, Jewish organizations, the vast overwhelming response is tremendously positive. And if fundamentalist Christians want to be pro-life, let them protect the planet, let them get rid of the scourge of gun violence, and let them join us in fighting for universal health care. This is not pro-life. This is a cult of death that they're celebrating that would lead to the death of women and to the degrading of society.
All right. As I said, the law is scheduled to go into effect on July 1st, and it'll be interesting to see how your particular legal challenge makes its way through the U.S. courts. Rabbi Barry Silver of Va-Dor in Boynton Beach, Florida, thank you for joining us on I-24 News.
Toda rabah.